and I chose me. I chose to trust in me. Because my confidence was soaring at that point. And I knew that I had tapped into a space where I was operating in my gifts. I was operating in a space where my light shined the brightest. And I wasn't going to let anybody dim that.
Talk about that space of self-empowerment, of leadership, because that's where you kind of operate.
That's what I operate in.
You even wrote a book
I did.
About it. And so can you just explain to the audience what that book is about and how that book has helped so many people?
Yes. The title of my book is Own Your Opportunities, a story of self-discovery and self-determination. I think men naturally assume that a book written by a woman is only going to pertain to women. And admittedly, I will say this. I would say that when I wrote the book, my first audience I had in mind was Black women, and then women in general, because my experiences that I share in the book that deal with corporate trauma, they tend to be experiences that a lot of women would relate to. Mm-hmm. But the men identify with the feelings of being trapped. So I'm reaching different age groups, and I'm reaching both men and women, different racial backgrounds. I mean, and that's been so encouraging. And I think the reason why I'm reaching them is because the message is about self-discovery. The message is about becoming the person that you were created to be, and not putting limits on the dreams that you have, but to actually take steps and make that pivot towards those dreams.
How does the book help a person who is down on their luck, down on their confidence? What would they read in your particular book that would help them get over that hump?
I would say that they would first identify with not being alone, that you are not the only person going through that type of experience. So there's the shared experiences that people relate to, which I believe disarms the reader, such that they will, continue to read the story. But also at the end of my book, Own Your Opportunities, I include author notes and self-discovery strategies or other strategies and tips for self-regulation. Every chapter title in my book is a key to owning your opportunities.
How do you discover yourself at 40, 50 years old? You should already know yourself.
We have been culturally conditioned that we should be working for other people and helping them attain their dreams.
That's true.
We have not been culturally conditioned to pursue our own dreams. I mean, think about when you were a child. You were free to dream and to be whoever you wanted to be, whether it was a firefighter, a dancer, a singer, even a princess.
Well, when does that change, though? I mean,
I think it changes by the time
you get to high school.
It's like you follow a certain track. You're expected to follow a certain or a trap. Yes. I'm very pleased that my book has also received national recognition. It was just recently awarded a medal with the Nautilus Book Awards in the category of personal growth and self-help.
Now the buzz is your book is going to be a bestseller.
All right.
Have you heard that same buzz?
I have. And I've, keep buzzing. What's more important to me is that the message transforms, that it helps individuals in their journey to self-maximize or to self-manifest, because that is what I want to do. That is how I want to encourage and inspire other people, because your greatest asset in any organization is people. So you want to work for someone that invests in them. I was in the food service industry for 17 years, and I was there, and I was able to grow, and I was able to develop. I was able to evolve. I was able to discover Juliet.
Yeah, and I think that is generally the case when you're a young African American and you find your way into corporate America, because there's not many of us in corporate America. I worked in the biotech industry for over 20 years. And I think I experienced the same things that you experienced. I was searching for myself. I was working my behind off. I was traveling almost every single day. But I still didn't feel fulfilled. Yeah. So I searched for other things. I wanted to run for office because I actually wanted to do something for my community. I wanted to improve my community. But at the same time, I didn't want to give up my $300,000 annual salary, which ended up happening anyway. A lot of them, when you speak to them, talk about corporate trauma. And you wouldn't think that there is trauma if you're making that kind of money, you're able to live the way you want to live, but you still have to go in, you have to look at those same faces, you have to face different things. And the politics in corporate America are far worse than local politics, local government, because you are dealing on a totally different level, and you're dealing with a monster that you can see, but you can't see.
Yeah, we have a tendency to normalize trauma in the workplace as African Americans. It is not good for your mental health at all. And so I absolutely experienced trauma while I was in the corporate system, from having a boss that was a bully, using profanity. I remember when I was maybe about 26 years old, and I was at a team building retreat with my team. I'm the only woman. I'm the only person of color on the team. I'm the youngest. And the suggestion was, let's go to a men's retreat out in Colorado for our team bonding trip. And I'm sitting in the room at the table, confused, like an all males trip, because I'm trying to find the positive in this scenario. And I'm like, well, maybe I can learn how to communicate better with men.
Well, and that's where the trauma is, because when they throw those passive aggressive lines out, you're thinking to yourself, are they targeting me?
Are they targeting me? Did they really just say that in front of me? Do they even see that I am here? And asserting my voice, it created an opportunity for the men to pause and to break in that moment and to consider how ridiculous that idea was, that I am on a team, but you want to have a team retreat without me. So,
I want you to think about something. Without those experiences, do you think you would be who you are today?
Oh, absolutely not. And I do share with a lot of people that you need adversity in order to advance. You need to go through even the most the stormiest of times in order to discover who you are and what you're made of and what you like and what you don't like. If that experience had not happened, I would not have had an opportunity to speak up.
So when did you realize your actual value? Because when someone sees you present, they're not looking at somebody that went through the things that you went through in corporate America. They're not looking at somebody who experienced trauma. They're looking at this strong African American woman who can motivate an entire room. So they actually have no idea who Juliet Hall really is,
or what Juliet Hall went through to become who she is.
Correct.
When did I discover that I had value? Well, the truth is, I always knew that I had value.
I think we all know, but
when
you're in that certain room, you can't gauge where your value is as compared to everybody else.
I think the question is, when did I become confident?
Bingo.
Because we all know we bring something to the table, no matter how big or how small we think it is. But confidence, on the other hand, the root word of confidence is confide, and to confide means to trust, right? So you have to trust yourself. I had to trust myself. I had to trust my value. I had to trust that the words that came out of my mouth in those moments of adversity, that they mattered, that they were valuable to others, that it could help bring about appropriate change or make a situation positive. Something shifted in me where I'm like, you know what? In this environment that I'm in, I've been through a lot of different...
I think I know what it was.
You think you know what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I read something where you were told that you weren't going to be able to pursue your career path.
Yes.
And that's when you decided to make that
That's
leap.
exactly right. I decided that at a certain point, I began to feel like I was outgrowing my situation, outgrowing the culture, the corporate culture that I was a part of, even outgrowing my role. I knew that my capacity was larger than the sandbox I was given. I was, asked a question in my latter years in corporate America, what is your dream? What is your dream? What is your dream job? And when I shared what that dream was, I was told, well, that dream doesn't exist here. But a salary will kill a dream, because some people will just stick to the money and be miserable. And I just don't think money is worth the misery. I don't care how much you make.
And also in corporate America, man, you never know what tomorrow brings.
You never know.
You never know. I mean, you never know what decisions are being made. You never know if you're the next person to go. You just don't know.
And for that reason, Bruce, that is why I tell people, if you put your value in your title or in how much money you make or in the organization that you work for, you are in trouble. Because when all of that goes away, what do you have?
I was director of national account for a biotech company out in California. And they had a change in the CEO, a change in leadership, and he brought his whole team in. And the only position that didn't get replaced at the top was my position, which was director of national accounts. And I think the reason why I didn't get replaced immediately is because I was the only person that looked like me in the company. So I knew that they were going to come for me sooner or later. They began to apply the pressure. They found out that I was an elected official in Georgia. The CEO called me and said, "Hey, I hear you're an elected official in Georgia." I said, "Yeah, I only meet twice a month. It's not getting in the way of me doing my job." The next thing you know, they scheduled performance meetings for me to fly out to California the day after my night meeting at 10 o'clock. So I would have to leave the meetings early, get on a flight. I would get to California about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, go to my hotel, and have to present at 9 a.m. And I'm sure you experienced the same thing, if that's what you were told. Through telling me that my dreams did not fit within my job, to telling me what I couldn't do outside of office hours. Yeah, Bruce, nobody likes to be controlled. Right.
We are divinely created, and I believe that because we are divinely created, we have embedded in us a free will. Nobody likes to be controlled. When you're not growing, you begin to mentally demise. And I was beginning to feel like I was meeting a closed door every time I wanted to venture out and do something that was in alignment with my gifts, whether